Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am Legion for Dying Light 1 and 2. My name is Jason, the creator, and welcome back if you're joining me again. So earlier I was on here working. We were able to go through and actually had a pretty good group on the stream there. And I'm going to go ahead and continue that process. So what I set up, or what I ended up setting up was, and what I'm overhauling, is kind of preparing the game for more loot and more of the actual survivor-like systems. So I'm going to actually update a few things really quickly here. We'll say 1.2 and we'll say loot, overhaul, and survival items. Okay, we'll go ahead and hit save there. And I think that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and hit save so that way people can see the updated thing. Let me go ahead and share this on the stream again or on the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, then make sure to join me on there. So we've got a pretty great community on there at this point. So I think we're right here nearing around 800 people, I believe. And it's a really good group on there. If you guys need any help, any feedback, and having any difficulties with the mod itself, that's a great place to jump and start getting feedback for what might be going on with the system. So give me one more second. Let me post this on the Discord. Update. Survival. All right. So I got that set back up. So one of the things that I managed to get through earlier is, so we've set up actual water in the game. So we have the concept of drinking water. We have the ability to actually go through and filter that water, or to use tablets to actually create purified water. You can use that purified water to either sell or drink for health right now. That will later be hooked up to either stamina increases or into the thirst system that I'm working on. Then we went up and I've basically been asking for people's feedback. So whatever items you would like to see in the game, that's what I'm actually creating right now. So kind of as a joke, someone threw out beer. Well, that kind of led down this road of alcohol in general, and using the valuables that they had already set up in the game that were not very interesting, not very good. Went ahead and expanded that system to where I stopped for lunch, so people missed this one part of it, but basically the summary is that I've gone through and created cheap versions of each one of the alcohols, and then I've also created top shelf versions of each one of the alcohols. So as you're looting these across the world, you can actually go and pick these up and have the different versions. So I'm going to actually launch here in a second and test out what those will look like. But essentially with the cheaper versions, you'll end up getting more of like a headache, almost like visual effects, and less of the actual damage and damage reduction. And so if you get the top shelf, then the top shelf has less of the actual headache effects and that kind of thing, and more of the actual standard damage. So the regular bottled wine, or the bottled regular can of beer, or whiskey or vodka, those are the ones that are going to be mid-tier, and then top shelf will get you to be able to actually enjoy some of those effects without actually having the blurred vision, or as much of the blurred vision as well. So let's go ahead and get these copied over. So I'm over in the inventory prototypes. So again, if you missed the first part of the stream, jump on, and that should be shared out now so that you should be able to catch up on there. Hey Verdi, welcome back. So we should be able to now test with these different versions of the different alcohols. And kind of the reason that you would do this is that each one of these is kind of set up to where you're going to feel less damage when you drink these, but you will also have visual effects that will make it to where they are pretty good drunk effects, to be honest. But some pretty interesting effects that you'll have, but you'll also be able to get some good perks in between there. So let's go ahead and get these pulled back up. For anybody that's new to the stream, the bottom panel is always, or the bottom window is always going to be the mod, and the top left is going to be the extracted files. They're all different files that I'll be editing. So here we also have some very basic things. So the ones that you'll probably need for establishing new loot into the game is the inventory, the collectibles, the inventory prototypes potentially, buffs, and then any type of damage definitions, healing definitions, health definitions. And I'll continue to explain those as we go through. I kind of wanted to leave the stream just kind of running and do it like I'm in a way, but I decided to go ahead and cap it and just start it back up. So let's see. So we've already got the file open here. I'll go ahead and clear it just to make sure that we're all still on the same page. And I haven't actually done a good backup since I've been doing all this alcohol, but you can see quite a few new items here and continue to refine for the water as well. And let's make sure. So I've also started organizing some of these buffs down underneath my I Am Legion Reborn section, and that should be good to go. So let's go ahead and launch. And for the occasion, since I was making alcohol, I figured I would also have a beer. So cheers, everyone. Hope everybody is having a great weekend and is enjoying the mod. Any feedback that you want to provide, go ahead and join the Discord community or leave it here on YouTube. And looking forward to hearing from you guys. Hey, Effort Fighter, welcome back. And so, as we're continuing the progress, so I'm not doing live mics right now. One of the reasons for that is because of the audio pickup and feedback, but I am trying to keep an eye on the comments both on the Discord channel and on the YouTube channel. So if you have comments or feedbacks or want to ask questions, you can leave it on either or, and I'll probably try to grab it as I'm working here. So I'm going to stop real quick and just read this. So Verdi, currently there is sterilized clean rags. So that is so you have basic rags and then you have sterilized rags. So those require alcohol to make. So those have been added. And let's go jump into the stash really quick. Here we go. As you can see, we have quite a few new variations of each one. So each one of these now has, so like for example, we now have top shelf bottle of whiskey. Looks like the original bottle of whiskey did not get its color change. So this is probably going to be violet. And for each one of these, you can find a cheap version of it. So I think for vodka, or whiskey, I actually left that green. So it won't be white like the rest of them, but let's see. That looks about right. So let's go ahead and start pulling these into the inventory and testing them out and seeing what we get. Looks like I'm maxed out here using the generic save game from the Nexus. This was actually created a very long time ago at this point, but it continues to be kind of the go-to. I'm not sure if people want to start uploading their new save games, but I think this one was created all the way back on like version 1.5 or maybe even version 1.4. So it's one of those things where it always gets, as I go into it, I always wonder if it's actually working as expected or not. So let's go ahead and drop a couple of these suckers as well so I can check the models and make sure the models are good. Like a bottle of whiskey there. Body of vino. Vodka. Nice. And let's see what the can ended up being. I don't think I've actually tested the can yet. So this was a can that I found in there. It's like actually like an unfinished can. It's just like a can of beans kind of thing. I'll have to switch that to a crumpled can, which I'm not thrilled about. I was hoping to have like an actual like can that was not collapsed, but looks like I'll probably just have to do that. And hey, for Verdi's question, he was asking if I can do custom icons. I can do custom icons, but they'll have to be replacers. So the current plan is that I couldn't believe it, but for each one of these, so over in the collectible section, like for example with these different tapes, it's like they created a tape each one of these is like an individual tape. And so the idea here is that I'm probably going to have to end up replacing these icons. I don't know how often people actually like give a shit about the actual icons over here, but kind of the idea was, is that at least what I was hoping is that I could go in here and replace a couple of these icons. But you can see here, I mean, I might get some mileage, but I could probably get maybe 20 or 30 new icons in here before I replace each one of them. So the hope is that when I get the mod to a point where I'm ready to do so, I'll go ahead and replace one of those, so that we can start to have some better icons in the game. So let's go ahead and test. So one of the things I also added is the actual icon indicator. So you can see in the top left corner, you can actually see the icon indicator ticking away for the actual alcohol. So while it's in my system, that will continue to kind of tick away there until it's used up. And so I think that really helps as far as being able to see how long do I have before that wears off. And then I've also increased the stackable amount on these, so you can actually now drink quite a few more of them. So if you really want to just keep stacking that effect, you absolutely can. And it shows that, so it shows ×5. That's awesome. Okay, so let me switch over. So that was the old world. Let me go in here and stack it with a couple more of these and just see. Oh, and it creates its own little. I think 12 is the max, and look at that. Let's keep shuffling. Let's see how messed up I can get the player. Let's get the stronger ones for the different ones. This is funny. Let's see. So then let's also do that one as well. That's as strong as they get. So I think we're maxed out on there. Let's try vodka. Woo! That screen is messed up. Again, for some reason, while I'm streaming out, it looks like the actual YouTube stream is messed up on my side, so I can't actually read your guys' comments or anything. Well, actually, I'm assuming comments are working, but for some reason, I can't actually see the screen itself update. So hopefully that's still working for you guys. Let me know if that's not working, but it should. So that is what it looks like to actually be beyond inebriated. And you can see here, I can still move around. I'm guessing my damage is actually up pretty high at this point, but I'm not sure how well I could actually fight in this condition. And we'll also have to see. So let's go down there and start some trouble here. I also had the idea. I want to make it to where your weapons actually sway as far as your like crossbow and that kind of thing, so that if you're trying to fight. So far, I don't know if I've been able to hit any of them. Like really hard to tell whether or not I've actually even hit one person here. Never tried to fight like this, so I'm actually not sure. Alright, well maybe I should have stuck with zombies first. A doubling effect. It's actually really good. It's kind of shocking how good that is. But so the effects themselves do not stack separately. So as they're ticking down, they're actually stacking up and completely erasing altogether. So the vision is actually getting drastically better in chunks there. Oof. Some of them are worse than others. So like the vodka and the whiskey actually have. Damn, that effect is like actually pretty good on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this just because I can't actually read anything that's going on. I'm assuming. There we go. So it's really weird. As soon as I stop my graphics engine, it immediately fired up so I can actually see the screen again. But I'm not sure if the latency is actually that bad. I mean, on my side, the latency is like pretty killer. It pretty much just stopped the screen altogether. But so that's the cool part, Verdi, is I think you absolutely can. I have to test that out. But I think you can actually um, use this during cutscenes. So if you decided that you didn't want to actually watch the cutscene while sober, I think you could actually drink a bunch of these and then watch the cutscenes, which could actually make them more funny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and this is going to be our alcohol bundle. Future testing. So that actually worked pretty good. So I think at this point, what I'm going to do is go ahead and make a quick backup. And that way we can make sure that this gets on the server. I'm telling you, every time I play that and do the testing and then I come out of here, I feel like they did such a good job with that drunk effect that it's like, woo. Okay, added alcohol, the inventory lists. What I'm going to do is I'll make first one here, and then I'll go add it to the actual world. So what we're going to do is, and this is the part that I didn't get to show off on the previous one, but I'll go ahead and show you guys now. So this is how it actually gets added to the game set or the game world itself. So we're going to go over to item sets, and let's go ahead and move this to the right view. And basically what the idea here is, let me move this over. And Effort Fighter, I apologize. I forgot to get back to your comment there. Be able to add virals from the one in Dying Light 1 where they don't look entirely like zombies. So like the fresh dead. So you're asking, yeah, if we have, the fresh dead concept again. That's actually what I've been working towards with these new Diverse Z's update. And so some of these new zombies that are in the game, that's exactly the idea, is to take those new zombies, and they already have been added to the list. I left the dead ones off, but I also left on the default ones as well. So the default virals are still on there, but some of the new biters that I've been making that look fresh have been added to the viral list as well. So that's kind of the idea there, is that you start to have more fresh dead. So we had this concept of like valuables, whiskey. I think it's valuable. Yeah, so you have valuable whiskey and wine, and what I actually like to do is the well, we'll do no, because one of the things I don't like about Notepad is that Notepad is that I'm only able to do a single line on the replacement. At least that's to my knowledge. If you guys have any other information on that, if you know of a way to do it that I'm not aware, please let me know. But I have been using Sublime to do multi replacers here, or multi line replacements. So basically, what you do here, or what I've been doing, is taking like this valuable whiskey, and we can go in here and say replace. So, anytime that whiskey is found, what we'll do is we'll go in here and say we need 3 of them. And we're going to go in here and grab inventory. And then also, I guess while we're here, let's grab that can, because sadly that the bottle of beer didn't work, or the can of beer didn't work. So let's go in here. Sadly, we have to do this for all of them, but let's see. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so now we at least have a crushed can. That's a little bit better than a black can that doesn't look right. So essentially, let's go down here to whiskey, and we'll do this one over here on the right, so it'll be a little bit easier to see. But we're looking for the cheap bottle of whiskey. So let's go here. And the first one will be cheap bottle of whiskey. Next one will be bottle of whiskey. And the last one will be top shelf bottle of whiskey. And then we need to change some values here. So basically for the first one, this is the more common, less common, and much less common. Let's do like that. And then if we go back to replace, we can then go in here and it will now search. Unable to find, so that was quick. We need to go in here and say whiskey, and we'll just go to the next one. So 01. So let's go in here and say find, replace 01, and we'll change this to also Matt 01, and we'll have do like 01, 005, and 001. That. Say replace. Okay. Whiskey, check. And I always get a little nervous about these. I always worry a little bit more about doing these injections because this is always where something doesn't go as expected and you end up with a bug. Modded weapons for the humans. I would have to look into that, Verdi. I'm not sure if they have any concept of modded weapons already pre-assembled or if that has to be added. But that's a good point. It's something to look into. Let me go in here and say whiskey again. See if we can find the next one. Okay. 0, 5. This can be water. Got 8 of them that time, so that's a little bit better. And then I'm seeing here valuable orange. Oh, see, this is where it's going to be very specific. Now, what it'll do is that these will not actually spawn. It's annoying. But what I can do is I can potentially add all of them to this. No, because this is just going to mess up the. Because I didn't realize on the valuables. So these are going to have to be hand injected, which is slightly more annoying. But let's see here. Let's say, because we're basically going to have to go get, because even that's green. So cheap bottle of whiskey, or cheap bottle of vodka. We got our spoiled bottle of wine. Got old can of beer. That. Hey, T-Man, how's it going today? Modded gear that can be dropped for the community. We have some modded weapons. So you're saying that you want like armor that you could actually add custom, like hardened, add hardened armor to and that kind of thing? If I'm understanding that right. I'm not sure if that's even, I'm not sure if that's possible based on, I would need to go look at how that is set up as far as the code is set up to see if they're doing that very specifically with and I want to make these a little bit less easy to find here so we're not getting a bunch of them. But essentially, to that question, I'd have to look at the code to see how they're doing the modifications. I've not started doing custom modifications or anything like that, and so I would have to review to see how they're doing that to know that answer. So these are valuables. There's no valuable white. This is just valuable. So there's valuable green. So there's got to be one that's like scrap. So this is going to be all of them. It's annoying, man. So we have cheap, and then we have spoiled. Let's go ahead and remove these. So these don't actually apply to these. This one. And I guess let's just go ahead and do them in line. I really, yeah, I don't like this. So hang on, let's clean this up a little bit. This is becoming too difficult to actually scale properly. So starting from the bottom, it's over a little bit, so it stops doing that while I'm trying to copy this over. We'll hold this up. All right, so we're on premium. Okay. Premium, so 3 are in. Foiled, fine, aged, deep. And just give me 1 second if you guys are trying to ask anything, just because I'm trying to make sure I don't lose my place here. It's a bottle of vodka, top shelf, whiskey, and then top shelf. Okay, and then kill that. Okay. But again, thank you for the comment there, T-Man. I'll have to take a look and see how that code is set up and kind of determine, how easily that can be moved towards. So spoiled, cheap, 03, and then cheap bottle of whiskey would be 02, which then after that we can 01, 01, cheap bottle of whiskey, top shelf vodka 01, 01. 3, like that, and then old bottle. So we got old, then we got 4, and then we got 01. And this will actually, we'll do that like higher than that just because like that. So it's more likely to find those. Okay, so those are technically balanced correctly. Hopefully we can use this, or I can use this somewhere else. So let me copy that. And let's just see if I can use that later on. Because then this annoying thing of like, so now which ones are green, which ones are technically what it'll do is technically I can go here and just do like this, because with the loot system it will actually determine what is green and what is not. And so if it is properly set up to where it only does green, which it doesn't look like it is, it doesn't look like it actually has a filter on this. This is just manually saying these are valuables green. And that's another consideration, is that we don't want these to actually show up in like loot chests. So what I might do is that I might just leave them out of the valuables side until I create more valuables. And what I'll do is, like here we have a can of food is showing up as a blue. I don't know what to do with these, because the valuables, violet, I mean, all of these are going to start to show up in rewards and stuff like that, which, I mean, technically that's better than the current. Is that, right now you're getting like a bottle of perfume and it's literally just a sell. Um, I guess as long as it doesn't show up in here, which it did. So we have our whiskey, like a valuable chest. I mean, I'm gonna have to basically redo. Thanks, Ferdy. Appreciate it. I'm basically gonna have to redo some of the way the valuables are done because to me these, I mean, what is actually valuable in the game versus because you have like jewelry and stuff like that, but like the way they've got these loot containers balanced in the world, you're gonna do some like high level quest or something, and it's gonna give you a bad can of beer. um, so probably when I go through with the valuables, I need to go through and actually create things that are actually more valuable. But I'm trying to think of like what that would be. If you guys continue to think of ideas, I know that we have less of a crowd at this point, but if you guys continue to think of ideas of what is valuable or what different ones to create for this, please just let me know. Just because like I guess if all else fails, we could start to look more at saying like adding cash and that kind of thing. But we're gonna have to look at what is considered valuable and maybe add some more tools and stuff like that to it. Container. So let's continue that search really quick. Let me see how far down this replaced. Okay. So it's down into the thousands. Let's go here and say whiskey again. So like here we have the street, and that's actually correct. So here, because they're 0, 1, what I'm going to do is actually just copy this, and let's see for the street if we can actually get this done right. Like that. Because the hope there is that we can basically, as you're starting to loot the world, you'll find these things on the streets and stuff like that. Make it a little bit more interesting. But that's an idea. So, like, what if you took like the manual? So, right now they have this concept of like a manual. But what if you actually made it to where each manual maybe taught you how to make a different weapon so that you could actually craft your own weapons? So you're actually out searching the world for different manuals to create different weapons from. I really like that idea. I have to continue to play with that concept to see if that's something that I can do here. Um, for the medical side, should not have it there. Mail. Let's see. Hospital, facilities. Facilities would definitely have beer. Definitely have this. Interiors. And that is one thing to just mention here is that like this is just getting started on this concept. So like, eventually once this is set up correctly, there will be probably like 100 things added to each one of these lists. Right now, I think one of the problems is that it really only has a couple because there really are. I mean, you can only find toilet paper in most of these locations. But here in the future, you could actually find, hundreds of different items in each one of these locations. The key here is making sure that it actually fits, um, and that we're not just like bloating every single location just because we can. So that is something that I want to be mindful of as I'm going through and updating these as well. Vodka fridge definitely has it. All vodka moving around. And say vodka and just kind of go peep around and see what I missed here. So bandits will definitely have alcohol. So you can definitely find it on them. They also now have med kits as well. We'll actually leave the valuables in there as well. So if I happen, if you happen to find like a valuable bottle of wine or something like that, that actually makes it more unique in its own way. So fodder, they don't have peacekeepers. They don't have alcohol on them because they're a bunch of military folks. Or drink more than anyone, but we'll leave that off the list. Let's say whiskey. You can make that joke. Higher military. Counter. So let's do this again. Say vodka. Where's this? AI backpack. So we'll go ahead and add this to here as well. Whiskey that I added. And then click everything. And then encounter, survivor reward. Give you like a can of beer, say thanks. Play test. If I should do this winter event, I think I'm going to leave their winter event alone because I feel like they're going to change that here very soon. Leave that one alone for a minute. Okay, and we'll leave it out of these. We'll leave it out of these valuables for the most part, just so that way I don't have to contend with what that really looks like. We'll leave a up here at the actually in the orange section. What we'll do is we'll add the top shelf stuff to the orange section. So we have our top shelf whiskey, we have our top shelf vodka. each bottle of wine. And premium can of beer. Like that. And then for the chest, I think I'm gonna, inside the chest, maybe what we'll do is we'll copy this top shelf stuff, and maybe inside of the chest we'll add top shelf. And so maybe that will help with some of that. I think that makes sense. Okay, so that should be alcohol added to the level or to the world, quite a few places. So I really, we're gonna have to make some other loot as well, just so I didn't just add alcohol to the world. So we say beer, free variants, wine. Whiskey. Okay. So next, let's go through and add the water. So go ahead and put the water into the world as well. So pretty much anywhere where there's like a kitchen or the street will have, like the street will have the cheaper stuff or the, yeah. And so that way inside of certain containers, you have a chance of finding the better ones. But that way, let's head down to like the street. So if we stay on the streets, you can find dirty bottled water. On the streets, you have a chance of finding a purification filter, but that's a little bit lower. And then you find iodine tablets, not iodine tablets. Is it iodine? It's not iodine. Why do I keep saying that? I forget what our tablets used to be. Better start getting that right. Let's see. Then we've got purified water tablets. Technically, I could add some of these to the world as well. Maybe I will. So we have the tablets. We also have purified water. That probably would show up more often than not. And tablets would probably be a little bit more rare, but you could actually find purified water as well. Let's see, that needs to go. And then purified water filtered. We'll go ahead and add that. Well, but that is much more rare. And then we also are going to have bottled water, which is going to be very rare. But let's go ahead and grab those. And we'll add these to our list over here so that we can start copying and pasting those in. Okay, so now we have this concept of water. Let's go ahead and add these to a few other places. And what I can actually do is to save time on this, because I went through and tried to make canned food something that I specifically was trying to do well. So let's go through and just say replace canned food, and then we'll replace canned food with the water options as well. That get rid of, oh, just on that one. Yeah. Okay. Make sure that worked right. Yep, that was good. So we've now got the concept of water added to the world. Let's check on the bandits. Let's say bandit, default bandit. Let's make sure, yep, they've got water as well. So you can see now on a bandit, they actually have quite a few options of different things to drop. That was pretty quick. I think the problem here that I'm seeing is it looks like they were on there twice. So maybe I put canned food on there twice. That's annoying. Well, I think I can actually see that on here. If that is on the same, maximize this and say canned food. Yeah, because I did. I guess I put them on a couple of different places, but did it also have the dried fruit? No, because it's actually missing that. So it's where I did a replacement earlier. That one's correct. That one's correct. That it didn't add them to that one because it's 5. What we can do is the same thing here. We'll go say find, replace 5, change that to 5 and hit replace. 3 replacements and food. We'll search this really quick and make sure it didn't get posted twice. Canned food, canned food. Yep. So that's what it's doing. But that's okay. I mean, even if more food showed up in the world, I mean that's not like the end of the world. So we now have water added to the game. Added water to the world. Probably the only one that I'll probably get rid of is the filter. I mean, I think it kind of depends. So it's like the dark places have, if you have dark zones, this one's called dark place, so I'd have to look up and make sure that's actually getting used in a dark zone. Um, Again, once this becomes like 100 things, it will become more random every time you go into a different zone. So people may like that. Some people might hate that. Again, when saying like I went into a dark zone and I got valuable soap, is someone going to be more upset that they got a filter instead or filtered water than they are going to be that they got aspirin or soap? I really don't know. Anybody have any thoughts or comments that may be on the stream? Like its chances are pretty low. I mean, compared to these other ones, everything else is like 5-0. And so its chances of spawning are actually pretty damn low. So I don't think it's even really an issue here. Like I think these will occasionally show up in dark zones to add a little bit more flavor, but I seriously doubt it's gonna like become an issue. I mean, again, compared to valuable toilet paper, I think I would rather play a game where I go find bottled water rather than toilet paper, but that's just me. Um, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this for now. I'll keep an eye out for your guys' feedback on here. If you guys have any thoughts, leave them on Discord or on YouTube. Add water to the world. Loot. Okay, so that's our bottled water. So we have alcohol, we have water, we have some food. I think I'm going to go through and add a couple of different variations of food really quick because that one will be super easy. So let's get some different food things in here. So we have dried food, canned food. instead of doing a single can of generic food, I might be able to, actually, let's see. First, let's go look at our meshes and say meat, question mark. Meat big. And then meat small. Prop meat big. Prop meat small. Let's go ahead and just add some of these to the world and see what we get. So we have meat. Prop meat A. That's meat, meat, meat. And then now I wonder if we have, I have to look on there to see if we have any icons for like food. I don't think they do. Let's say here, search results, food. Valuables, canned food. Yeah, I think that might just have to. If food supply, pickup sounds food supply. That's fun. Let's use that. Use food supply. Pickup sounds food supply. Who knows if that's anything different, but add that. And then food rations. Food ration box. Let's go check that out. It's a quest. Quest item. Ration. Rations. Ooh, MRE rations. That's a good one. I like that. So we say, well, canned food's probably better. Say meat. Meat bait. That's about it. We're going to leave it for now. So we'll do this one. And then we'll do meat 02. And that will have meat N. That will have prop small. Oh, there's actually a bunch of them down there. Huh. They got fruit. They got all sorts of stuff. All right, let's see what they got here. Let's just go ahead and say meat 2, meat 3, meat 3. And obviously we'll come back and clean that up a little bit if these actually work out. And then let's see if there's, I'm gonna look up, I'm gonna save this one, if that's fun. We have melons. Oven meat. Okay. Let's look at what some oven meat is. 5. I've had it's PK oven meat. That's pretty good. Meat. Wow. Meat hook. Weapon? What? Meat bait. I like actual like. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So we got a couple of different things of meat here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head back over here. We already had a food bundle. So what I'm gonna do is go to the stash and I'm gonna swap this out for the food bundle. And then over here at the food bundle, we're gonna add these. So it's going to be meat. Save time. I think that's what we got, right? Yeah, 5. And then canned food. Sweet. Food. Okay, that should be that. So let's go back over to our mod really quick. Let's go ahead and drag this in. Let's take a look at what we got. Now, the one thing I haven't done yet is add it to the traders. And that actually takes more time than I was originally expecting. But I'll go through and probably just add like a food bundle that can show up in the, not a food bundle, but a food list. So that way you can pull from the food list, food list, feud, food list. Oh, yes, I guess I did move away a little bit. So does my, it does work. Okay. And is it this way? This way. There it is. And I'll make sure that when I exit here, I save. All right. And we'll go ahead and move all the alcohol back. Never know when we might need some more. Max it out. Yeah. All right. Let's take all the meat. So here's our meat. Let's go over and say, there's some good lighting. So here, it's all in there. So say drop.
Because the Night Runners weren't defined by power. They were the light in the darkness.
That word. All right. So we got a pack of meat. Looks like you're eating somebody's arm. But whatever, details. Drop. So that's 3. So 3 was the arm. Whoa! That's everything right there. Even comes with a meat hook. I love it. That's like feed the village. That's going on a quest item. That's you found enough food to feed 5 people. So that's meat. So that's big. Say drop. This is a can of food. Yeah, okay. So what does it actually say? Instant food risotto. Oh, it's a can of risotto. Okay. Meat 5. Oh, that's the grill, I bet. That's the PK grill meat or whatever. No idea what the hell that actually is. And then I guess we have this one and this one. Yeah.
Until today, I thought our chances
Meat
against
2,
were pretty good.
which is a
But now,
slab of meat, like meat. And then we have another piece of meat, like a sausage. So 4, 2, and 3, and then of course 1. So two, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4 are good, and then 1. Still hilarious. Good lord, man! They did like the full intestine track and everything there, or spine. I guess that's the spine. It's not the intestine tract. That's the actual spinal column. X. Okay. So we can actually just leave this running. We'll go update these. So 4, we can get rid of 5. Well, maybe we'll hold on to that. So this is, we'll go one by one here. Add some descriptors. Chunk of, it's like a, ham. This smoke to perfection. Ready. Okay. Say food, meat, ham. One. Food. 2. That's like a, it's like a steak, but it's like, put my flashlight. It's like a piece of steak. Let's see. Food. And we'll add smoke pan to that. Food, meat, aged steak or beef, aged beef. Here 1. And instead of calling it smoked ham, we'll call it smoked pork. And pork.
Pilgrim Town. I don't like it.
Okay, and then 02. Oh, that was 02. So 02 needs to be here. B can go up here. Is like a, again, it's like a leg. Call this food, meat, family ribbit, smoke, sausage, 01, and large chunk, large piece of smoked And then 1 is going to be food, newts, large. Is that a goat, you think? Goat, cow. Size of their goat. Large. Goat 01. We'll call it goat. They've got goats all over their little large. Large chunk, not chunk, large goat. Large goat feast. Yikes. Change this as we go. This large goat. And smoke to perfection is ready. Whole village. And what we'll do is that this will actually be worth a lot more. So this will be worth, like if you find this is worth like 4,000. I'm gonna make this a valuable, I think. Hey Froggy, how's it going? Yeah. I don't know if I can actually, with this one, I think this is going to end up being a valuable because, I'm just not sure I could ever really sell someone having to eat this. Maybe if you ate this, it would like hold off your hunger for like a long ass time. So as a survival mechanism, this would be like you're good. Like you just ate for the whole year. Or at least you have something to nom on for the whole year, kind of thing. So let's go in here and give these things some names or some prices here and say this was larger, so go in here and call this blue, and this one we'll call green. And then this last one, I think this was also green. And we'll change the buffs here in a little bit. And then for meat 5, no idea what the hell that's supposed to be, but we'll go in here and add. I think that should be good. So now we have actual names on there, so we can go ahead and crash it out. Probably should have saved it. I'm sure it automatically saved, but let's go back over here, and if we go back to meshes, what if we say like food ration box, kiosk, food rat? Another mystery meat. Let's do it. So food rat. The rat food? All right. So then we'll say, let's go back to 1 here. And we should call this meat. No, I'm going to call this rat meat because that's exactly what that says it's supposed to be. So let's make sure that name lines up with whatever the hell that is. So then let's say meat 2. If we can find another meat. Let's see. Loot bundle food rations. Food rations. And we'll do this as well. I think I saw one earlier as well that I wanted to test. Let's see. This will be food rations, meat 01. Root bundle rations A. That's what I just did. And food, I think, is what I already am using. Loot food B. I'll make it. Let's say, can't really call that meat, so we'll call this food rations 02. Food rations 2. And let's grab this. Okay, next. For stain, we got food jars, we got a food Biden. Let me actually just search this really quick. I'm really curious if this is like I'm not aware of. It pulls up dog food. Mason? We're gonna add it to the list and find out. But this is exciting. They have lots of different food on here. I mean, you could at least make a very basic survival mode using this. We already have 2. Yeah, so 3, 3, 4. B. And then for 5, say food cup. Food cup is, let's see what that is. Let's see, 5. That is food jar. Yeah. It's food kettle, food mortar. For you or for me? Or in game? I think probably depending on the day, probably a good cider, but it kind of depends. Champagne is one of those things that I don't know how you feel about it, but sometimes you can get a headache from those things. Kind of depends on how good the quality is. Love a good high quality champagne. Here's a food sack. It's pretty good. And in doubt, damn sack of food. I'm gonna end up with like too much food to actually put in here. And guess what? It's all going in here. Because that's just how we play here. So say 10, 10. Find out which ones actually look the best and put it all in. So why not? They if they've already got the models, we can add some logic to it, make it fun. I am interested to see what a food tree trunk is? I think yeah, so I think one of those bottles could be champagne, like and coated. So I just got I don't know if you saw the earlier part, but we currently have beer, wine, vodka, and whiskey in there. And so depending on the bottle, I'm sure you could try to pull off. I mean, the bottle itself wouldn't look right, but yeah, you could do like champagne and it'd be like a very short period of time that you get a buzz from it. Um, but it like does a lot of damage protection for a very short time. Just gets you very bubbly. I like that. We're gonna skip the food tree trunk for now. And here's another food ration box that I'm gonna add. That one's really finished, but we'll find out. Okay, I like the food rat. Let's go try these out and see what we got. All right, so we got rid of the meats. So working backwards, it's not work backwards. It's not work. All right. Already have it. So we already have a drunk effect in here as well. So and those have already been added to the world. So I'm excited to show you guys. That was actually what we were working on, or what I was working on earlier on the stream. Is we got alcohol working on here with a nice drunk effect. The idea is that the more you drink, the more the effect, the better the quality, the less the effect, but you do increased damage and then also have less vulnerability as well. So you're able to take a hit a little bit harder because you drunk. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11. Perfect. It was 12, right? 13. Yeah, so you can definitely easily replace. I mean, you could type in. So if you guys are watching, you can essentially just go right here and type in .ogg. Yeah, and here's all your audio in the game. So here they have music def. Here's some of their music. Um, here's all the loading screen sounds. Here's the birds. Here's all the different ones. So if you can get into the file itself, I mean, you can go on here on any of these and change the actual music. So if you wanted the music to be a different one, you could go on here and change the different ones as well. So it's all right there. Currently, no way to upload custom though. And that should be that. So let's go try out our rat food, our food rat. I think that's probably the one I'm excited about most, is to see what the rat actually looks like in the game. I'm really hoping it's just like a rat on a stake that you can just I can hook some physics up to it and it'll sit there and like spin in a circle or something. Oh yeah, so uh, Terraria is like my number one game on Steam for sure. It's like the game. I love Terraria. And actually, just very recently, I was informed. I've been waiting like an idiot for months for Terraria Team Mod Loader to catch up so that I could mod the latest version. And I didn't actually realize that even though they don't have the latest version, it's not broken. You can actually enjoy and play Terraria right now with mods. I thought that it was like that you had to do like some backdating stuff and that kind of thing. So I just haven't done it. But So I've recently just got a new modded version of Terraria that I'm excited to play.